So this part actually re-recording of the previous one, because you probably already noticed from the previous class when Ableton crashed and I restarted it, this sound disappeared. And in the previous course we kept it because you can still able to hear from the camera, and the was thing, it's not that important that you hear perfectly, you understand the more idea. And because you had the project, you can, like during that class, just download the project and follow through what I'm doing. So you can also hear it that way as well. And then I actually recorded the break and I didn't realize the audio is bugged out. So what's happening now, I'm going to just walk through again what I did in that course, but this will be a bit more like afterwards. The good thing is that class was only about 20 minutes, so I didn't do too many things, but I took some important decisions during that one as well. So I'm going to explain one by one what I have done there. The first thing, of course, explaining the structure of the break. And I decided to do break into the break. What does that even mean? So the break into break often means that you go in the energy level in the first break quite up, but then you drop it and then you have a shorter break, almost like a bridge. Actually, you may call this like a break into the bridge. Let's change the name. That's a better actual nomenclature. And then you have a bridge part where you take a small part, raise quickly, and then you go into the drop. So in this case, what I'm doing here is that having this bridge over here, dropping here, and then having big break over here. And I'm going to play first so you have an idea what we are doing, right? And then we go into... and into the drop. So this is nowhere near being ready. We need a lot of effects, we need still a lot of automation, we need a lot of, not a lot of what, we need to consider how we're gonna build this up. Also maybe paths need to work because they are together a bit muddy, and we can probably improve that part. But let me explain first what we had. The first thing is I actually made another bass sound, and it is for this one to keep it like a sustained, cooler, smoother bass. And one thing that is important, you see that it's one octave up, so it's not that deep. So it's like a, not sub bass, just bass. Right? Here goes a bit deeper. When we play, what's this? D flat, but still not that loud. We can still come back, but the main idea is just having this in the beginning single note, and then we have 2 notes chord progression like we had before. So it's like a miniature version of what we did previously. And I made this on the go. It's very simple, just 2 wavetables, right? And let me see, both is on, volume, and then we have some filter, low pass filter, a bit distortion, a bit compression. Really quite simple sound. I actually contemplated a bit if I should do re-sound over here, making the bass easy, like open, almost a bit aggressive sound. Then I decided not to because we have a lot of pads. But that's a decision that I could probably change later on. So it's not like a settled decision. We have that Reese bass option later on. And here you see I don't have any bass. We may have it, but for now I just keep it that way. And then we have the top loop almost. And the main reason I just bring it in is this is from Splice. I just went randomly to the Splice right top loop, I think, if I remember correctly. And I picked something just like this. Now, when you are picking top loops, or first of all, why top loops and not a snare roll? The main reason for that is I want to keep the snare roll a bit more reserved to the second bridge over here, because if you do snare roll here, is fine, but it can be a bit over the top. You can maybe use something a bit like a, not that fat, something smoother, and then here you can use more aggressive snare roll as well. So because of that, I said, okay, let's take a top loop here just to give us that like urging feeling that we are going somewhere, and then just put the EQ on top, right, and automate the EQ so that we are opening up all the time. We can do it this way, right? But you see that this is too dynamic. One of the problems with that using top loops like this, that especially when you have something like a break, you have this really smooth ambience, right? It's not that aggressive. You are not making tech house. Because of that, you want to like kind of soothe the sound a bit up. And the easiest way of doing is actually using transient shapers and removing the attack. In this case, I'm using spiff because you have a bit more control over here. You can also target specific areas as well. And I feel like this separates actually a bit better from transient details. So what I'm doing here, see how much difference it makes. Let me just hear the difference. This almost turns into like shakerish loop because that initial transient sound is gone. Right, this gives a bit like we are getting going without it. Very, very cool. Again, we are not done here yet probably. We may come back and use more hats. You see that actually I started with just using our regular hats over here. The main reason I changed it doesn't feel like it gave me enough noise. This one is much more noisy stop loop, right? It's like a lot of things are going on. That is the main reason. Sometimes actually this works, right? Sometimes you get away with just putting it over here and putting something like spiff to make it really smooth. But in this case, I prefer that more. Then comes the ambience. This part is interesting. And unfortunate that I actually lost the recording of that audio. The way you do it, actually taking any vocal sample. And in this case, let me see if I can find my sample sum. It looks like I deleted it for some reason. Or it's too small, I am not able to see it. Probably not. The chain is over here though. You see that I am a Valhalla Vintage and I use the hybrid reverb and use this freeze option. So what happens, let me do it just as random stuff so you understand. I don't want to jump anything. So we do it on the go so that you can hear what I'm talking about. I'm going to take just Ruby modern vocals. We can get really dry, wet, doesn't matter. Formant, it could be even more interesting. All you want is, okay, let me get not formant, regular vocals actually. Get wet, get minor. Like, I don't even need to listen, right? Because we are going to take the tails out of the stuff. So if I solve this. At this point, what you do when you feel like this is the sound that you are looking for. Like this. Do you hear, we got it? You can actually try to freeze like random places and see if you like the tone. And you can actually turn this on. And then freeze the freeze again. You see how complex pad-like sound we get out of it? It's very interesting, I will say, ambience creation. Sometimes you can introduce echoes on the sound. Like you can introduce this, do the same thing. Now we lost the volume a little bit. And then you just get the next audio, put into resampling mode, right? And then just record it. What that means is actually we can now release this. You have the ambience right over here. So this is exactly what I did here. Like I just put random vocals. I think it was splice again, or maybe this one. I don't remember what we did. I put a vocal. If I go here, you can hear the vocal perfectly here. And make it dark. And I had this layer on top. This is just coming from Obsidian. This is just a string. You can get this sound with any synthesizer, really. Single note, it's a lot of drama, right? So this too gives super nice ambience. Great! That was that. Interesting enough, probably this won't be longer than 20 minutes. When you do it, probably you don't explain too much. Or it's easier to explain. I don't know. Low pad. This is our low pad sound. This is our Reaper sound that we did together. Just automation on it so that we have auto filter going up, right? Opening up. And then we have this all regular high pad opening up as well. And then we have this effects. It's really light clap again. We have this time transient designer making it longer. Tails this time. It's more like a sound more sustained. And also having this frequency like automated, right? With reverb on that. The one big thing probably I should let you know is the automations that I do. When I did it, I explained as well. When you do this type of master channel automations, some people hate it. They have very strong opinions about it. If you are DJing, you have no strong, probably you don't have any strong opinion about it because that's what they DJ do when they mix or do anything on the stage really. The reason people hate it is master is supposed to be clean so that you don't have any effects. The way I do it, I like to do it is actually when we are automating all those stuff. Like if there's like filter up with a lot of elements, you can either like put it into bus and automate it on the bus and send it to master so that you don't automate anything. If you are in digital audio stage workstation and if you're a bit lazy like me, and then you can do the other trick. What you do is actually turn on and off depending on what you are doing here, for example, and device is on. So turning on, let me go there. EQ is turned on. What I'm doing really is cutting off the low and thinning out the sound so when the hit comes over here, you can hear the bass a bit more. The same thing over here. Another thing, because we are still using sands, I also make the sands darker, like here. You probably, I don't remember, you should probably do it like this. Like here. Turn on. Yeah, okay, now we understand why. Because until here, I don't have anything, but like here, it turns on, so it gets very dark. Without it, it's too bright. And in the break, I just want to heist to my pads and so on. It's a mixing technique, it's keeping things really tidy and clean, doing this type of small automations here and there. The only problem is if you like to do this type of things without really committing on arrangement, then you have to move the arrangement, not arrangement, but the automations together, especially with the return channels, it's easy to miss them. Hence, I do all those things after I really commit my arrangement and I see like, okay, this is it, this is what I'm gonna do, so that changes won't happen too much. If it happens, it happens, but most likely it won't. And this is really the break. Now, I'm not gonna do it today because it's just Sunday. I just come here to re-record this one. Yeah, see you in the next course.